The task of the Treasury is empty, my lord, in Zherbai Quarries. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of SnowRunner here at Opafet Gaming. I am the Opafet. Today we are driving our trusty and dependable Avenhorn A15 in the last task in Zherbai Quarries, which is the only map in the Almaty Region. We're at the final stages. The task is the Treasury's empty, my lord, which is part of the Zherbai District Mayor's Office contract, and it wanted us to deliver 8 pallets of silver. I guess since we got the conveyor belts working to the silver refinery, now that they're all up and running, we need to deliver 8 pallets of silver to the airport hangars. Now we've already delivered 6 of them. We've only got 2 left to go. So there was many different trucks that we could have chosen for this particular task, but we picked the Avenhorn for many different reasons, but also for one of the main reasons that it's my favorite truck in the game. It's a very capable truck. It's got a nice low center of gravity, really wide stance that makes it tough to tip it over. Large fuel tank, lots of power, and if you have a 5th wheel on there, you can put a maintenance module that carries an extra 300 liters of fuel. You can put a crane on there. There's many different things we can do with the Avenhorn, but today we just needed the flat deck so we can carry the 2 pallets of silver. Now this task is a fairly routine task, and you shouldn't have any troubles doing it as long as you go by some of the golden rules, you know, like drive slow, take it easy. You don't have to race in this game. It's not a racing game. It's just a matter of being able to get it from point A to point B, and the amount of time that it takes you is really of no consequence whatsoever. So with that all in mind, we're going to take our time and drive slowly. We're going to drive most of it in the high range of the low gear, which I find gives you a nice even steady pace, and then the truck doesn't keep shifting down. Now we started off in the bottom right hand corner of the map, the furthest east side, and we got to travel along the bottom of the map, but it's a washed out area, and we've got 3 sections like this we got to go through. That's a little watery. Thank God it's for the last time. Now we don't have to do it again, because after a while it gets a little tiring. The first few times are kind of fun, but now I've had enough of it, and I think it's time to move on. Now, when you go through these watery areas, that first one wasn't bad, because if you stuck pretty close to the rocks, you're okay. You got a decent amount of traction there. Over in this one, it's a little bit harder. I try to stay a little bit to the right, so that I can try and throw my winch out at that telephone pole or electrical pole on the other side of the guardrail there. Now once we get close enough, we'll be able to grab it. Not yet. Maybe, no, not quite yet. On this one here, right now. That's why when you buy your winch for your truck, always make sure you get the extended one. The longer the winch, the better off you are. Now we're through this one, we got 1 more to go, and we basically do the same thing. Just kind of travel. You can see there's a pole on the other side of the little washout area. Once you get close enough, you can grab it over that and pull yourself through the rest of the way. And that's about the best way that you can do it. Now, like I said, this particular trip is fairly straightforward. There isn't a lot of issues or problems as long as you make sure you go slow and try to keep this truck as level as possible. There are a few little detours that have got some rocks and boulders in it. It could upheave your truck on one side or the other, so just make sure that when you do go through there, you go a little bit slow. Now when you come out of that little water pit here and coming up the road, take this little detour route to the left. Don't go up the road, because just around the corner there is where the road's washed out, and you will not be able to get through there. And you'll have to back down and come up this here little 4-wheel drive track. Now it's not much of a problem. The rocks are fairly flat, even with the rest of the mud and path area, so you can pretty well keep it in the middle, and just slowly grind your way out. Just like that. Well, I tell you, I sure love driving this truck. I love the twin steer. I never was much of a fan of it before until I started driving it, and this is definitely, I think, one of the best trucks in the game and the most fun to drive. Although you do have to worry about the big snout in the front. You got a big nose, and if you ever go into any tight little dips, you could get stuck on it with it on the way back up out the other side. Just keep that in mind if you ever get into a tight spot. Now, as we're coming up around the corners here and moving right along, we will be seeing in short order the metal works factory on our left-hand side, just up the road around this next corner. It's also the recycling area where we dropped off a bunch of garbage recycling containers a little while ago. If you've been watching the videos, and you would have seen those ones. Anyhow, we're going to continue on until we get to just past this metalworks factory, and till we just get to the south end of the city. Now, we're quite a ways south of the garage and the city, but we're fairly low on the bottom of the map, about halfway across the map, and we're going to start traveling up and a little bit of an angle towards the left, and we got to end up at the top left-hand corner of the map. So, yeah, it's just like a cool little Sunday afternoon drive delivering this huge pallets of silver for the Avenhorn A15 in the Overfed. Wonderful game. Wonderful game, wonderful drive in the truck. And like I said, once we're done with this task, Zherbai Quarries in the Almaty region will be done, and we'll be moving on. And I do believe we're gonna go and move forward to Quebec for a little while, to the harbor map, and maybe drive around in the snow and the ice for a little while, just for a change of pace. Just kind of move back and forth so we can get some other videos up there. Anyhow, over here we're gonna hang a left, because we got to bypass the main road, which is just at the end there on a T. As you know, if you've been watching the videos, that there is a road closure over there, so we got to go over one block, so we can bypass all that. And we're about halfway up to the airport hangars, and don't seem to be having too much trouble. Not up to this point, anyhow. We still got a few little tight spots, major areas to go through, so we'll see how that goes. But we've been through there before with the Avenhorn, so I don't expect any upcoming trouble. And just up ahead there, you can see a big pile of gravel. That's where the construction's going on, as you can see. There's cement blocks there. So every time you want to be on this side of the city, you got to go around it. You got to do the detour thing. That's okay. All part of the game. Although I did turn a little tight and rip that sign right out of the ground. That was not my intention. Anyhow, we'll just don't say anything. Keep going. I'm pretty sure that if you drive back down there again, it'll be back in the ground again. Somebody will have replanted it for us. Now we're going to head north here, and if you've been watching my videos, then you will know that this has got three little detours to go, but not too far. So, like I said, this truck is a very capable truck, and if we got it in automatic now because there's not a lot of drag or anything pushing it. But once we go through the detours, we'll put it in the high range of the low gear again, getting some good load out torque to pull us through. And we might even have to change the time ahead. It's starting to get a little dusky, getting a little bit harder to see as we're coming up to the very first detour between the rocks there. Just going to go through a little area of mud and rocks. And through the magic of video editing, we'll just turn the time ahead. Now I could leave it, but I like it nice and clear and bright so I can see what I'm doing. Just like that. And as you can see, it's not really that big of an issue, but we're going to put it into the high range of the low gear anyhow, because it'll help us help the engine from shifting down every few seconds. We don't want to do that. Now he'll just grind right through here and walk out the other side. Just like that. Just climb up there and away we go. And if you're coming up this area, just up ahead here, you got a little bit of a swampy area in the middle of the road. So stick right over here. Stick to the right hand side of the road. Now, it sucks the mud sucks your tires right in there. And the same thing over here. If you stick a little bit to the side of the road, you'll be okay. You get a little bit better traction, you go right by it. Now we just got this tiny little hill to go up. And as you can see, the black arrow on the yellow diamond has appeared on the screen on the left-hand side there. And whenever that appears, as I mentioned before, it just means that we're getting close to the drop-off point. And just at the top of this little hill to the left-hand side is another tiny little detour. You know, the detours are more little nuisance than anything else, because they're not, well, the ones here are not really that tough to get through, except for the one. The last one we got to do yet. He's a little bit harder. This one is just a washed out area of the road again. But this will be the last time we'll be going through here. Like I said, this is the very last job task to be done in the Almaty region. We'll be moving on to the harbor map in Quebec, and I hope you will join us for that. We got some really, I've been scouting it out a little bit and checked it over. Got some really good deliveries coming up. Got some horrible ice roads and lots of snow. Lots of snow. As we're climbing up the hill here, we're going to shift up into automatic up here because we're going a little bit too slow. I'd like to get up there today. There we go. Then when we get up to the little detour, we'll shift back down again. Now in this particular detour, there's a big rock that's buried right in the middle of the track. And you'll see it, you can see it up ahead there, and it juts out quite high on the left-hand side. So I always try to avoid that part, and I try to just drive over the right-hand side of it and go around it. Because if you try to stay to the left, it's gonna just pull your truck up from one side to the other. So I just go over to the right-hand side, just right over here. As you can see, the left-hand side of that rock sticks up quite a bit. Anyhow, through the mud here, and then on the other side, because we got the Avenhorn, it's got a little bit of a shorter frame, so it's a little bit easier coming out of this here little hole with the water. With the Kenworth, it was a little tougher because the frame's so long. Not pulling out of here, but making the turn onto the bridge without ripping the railing off. I mean, even with the Avenhorn, we get close to it, but we've got the room. But with the Kenworth, it was almost impossible. You slide right back down over again, you just make it by there. Anyhow, we made it through, and as we get up over here where you can see the bus stop, we're gonna hang a right, and we're gonna avoid this whole airport complex because it's fairly tight to try and make the turns. I've gone through there a few times, but we're gonna just miss it all and just bypass it and go over here and get to the end of the runway. And over there, we're just going to follow the runway. It's much easier because we got to drop this off at the drop-off point, which is also at the end of the runway. So why go through the complex, right? Just right over here, and we just right where that little shed is up there is where we got to go. That's where we got to drop it off. And if you look, you can still see the Kenworth 963 is sitting up there waiting Absolutely awesome. Love the game. It was great. It was a great video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a few tips out of it. And if you just came to watch it, absolutely awesome too. Like it, share it, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. And I hope you'll come with us over to Harbor, Quebec. In the meantime, you've been driving an Avenhorn A15 delivering pallets of silver here in the Zherbai Quarries with me as your driver, the Opafet.